Hi, it's Melissa here at Desert Gal. I just wanted to come and share with you guys today a few nuggets that I learned, oh gosh, maybe about 20 years ago that have really just stayed with me throughout these years. So, the first one is integrity. I had heard a quote, I think it was actually from a pastor back in like 98. And he said, integrity is who you are when no one is looking. And that just really struck me as something that was vital to live up to. We know that the Father is always paying attention to us and He can see everything. So you're not kidding anyone with the things that you're doing in secret. And a lot of people, especially in our world today, with different like social media outlets and everything, not too long ago, I heard about this term called image crafting, where people try to craft an image of who they are when that's really not at all who they are. So it's extremely untrue. It's a lie. It's living in a lie and very deceptive and manipulative. And so, integrity being who you are when no one else is looking, I just think is one of the most amazing things for a person to be able to walk in their own private time as they walk in their public time. And, you know, a lot of people, we don't know what their character is like, people on YouTube or Facebook, or I don't even know what people use nowadays, but we don't really know what their character is like. You can kind of get a glimpse by the words that they speak, because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. You can kind of get a glimpse by facial expressions or the lack of facial expressions if they never tend to come before you on camera to read your face or your body language. So that is just a profound nugget that I feel like has been just something that I've been living by, you know, for the last 20 years, that my life in front of people is the same behind the scenes and in my own private time, because I know that regardless if I'm in front of people or I'm away from people, I know that the Father is paying attention. And so granted, even in my moments when I wasn't walking with Him, I was still very out about the sin that I was in front of people, as you know, behind the scenes. So yeah, it's about being real and being transparent and being honest. So that's one nugget. The next nugget I had actually learned from a peer at Bible college. And I remember at the time thinking, like, what an odd, I don't know, I thought she was kind of crazy. I didn't understand what she was telling me at the time, but I learned. And I probably learned like within a year and a half. And that is that believers can be deceived. And so there's kind of like a quote, I guess, that popped into my head. It wasn't something she shared, but she did share that deceivers can be deceived. And I just thought that was really silly. Well, a quote that later formed in my mind that I believe was probably the Ruach HaKodesh that gave it to me was that if you think that you are above deception, then you're already deceived. And so that's extremely vital, because we're called to be sober and alert and just be mindful of the things in our surroundings, the things that we're consuming, the things that we're listening to, that we're watching, the people that we're surrounding ourselves by. And all of that should really be in obedience to what the Father is asking you to do. If He is not asking you to watch something or listen to something or go socialize with this particular group of people, then, you know, we really shouldn't be doing anything outside of the scope that Abba is wanting for our lives. So that is another one. If you think you are above deception, then you're already deceived. Another one is about offense. And this one I heard probably like around the same time. You know, I think it's pretty neat that all of these little nuggets came to me like within like maybe a year span of each other, because they've really helped my walk. And granted, my walk has not been perfect because I really don't even feel like I started living for Abba until 5 years ago. And these nuggets I got like 20 years ago. So this next one on offense is this. If you can be offended, you need to be offended until you can no longer be offended. And basically what that is saying is that the only aspect of ourselves that can be offended is our flesh. So for us to be offended by other people whom we come in contact with daily, or even people from the past that we've yet to forgive, like the Father says that, He'll forgive us if we forgive others. So it's extremely vital that you go before the Father and you repent for your unforgiveness towards other people and for the offenses that they've caused in your life, but yet also the offenses that occurred in your life that you allowed to happen and take root because there was not a development of Abba's love within you at that time in order to cover that sin. So when we can be offended, that's very much proof that our flesh is still alive and it's still active and living and breathing. And so offenses are actually really good temperature gauges to see where you are in your development and in your process of refinement to denying yourself and taking up your stake and living for the Most High, and also walking in the Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh. So I feel like there's one more, even though I said there were three. And I can't think of it right off the top of my head right now. So if I remember another one or two, then I'll come back into another video. So I hope this has been helpful. Have a beautiful day, and I'll be back. Shalom.